morning. Welcome back to 2SkeGEEKS. I'm your boy Will Call. It is May Day, 01 May. I'm excited to be here with you again. In fact, no, better than excited. I'm ski geek to be up with you early this Sunday morning and geeking out with you, our comic book hobby enthusiast community. And so I wanted to first apologize for the delay in the delivering a show to you because of the fact that we recorded a show with a special guest with some special content, some new content. However, Boneheaded Will accidentally deleted the show, and so we're going to refilm the show and with some better critiques. So we had some production problems with it anyway, so we're going to redo it and hopefully today. And we will have that show posted for you today as well, or no later than tomorrow. I'm hoping that's the plan. And so, uh, rolling forward with today's agenda, I'm going to firstly correct an error that I said in our previous show when I showed this book here, um, X-Men Red, and I with Storm or Aurora on the cover. And in this one, in the last showing, I said that this was by Alex Ross, and that was incorrect. It is by Taryn Clark, is the artist on this cover, as well as this cover here. They are both number one of X-Men Red, and Taryn Clark is the artist on both of these covers. This is the variant, and this is the first or original or A variant, A cover, and this is the B cover. Both are beautiful renditions of Aurora by Taryn Clark. And so, uh, giving shout outs to him. And one other thing that I wanted to show you by Taryn was this book here is another Taryn Clark cover, is another X-Men cover as well. And so let me look inside to see what the issue is. This is Marvel Voices Heritage. Number one, Snowbird is the character on the cover, and this is again another Taryn Clark book. And so, moving forward with further into the agenda, but I just wanted to make that correction first before we go into it. Uh, I wanted to get into when I spoke about the Batman movie the last time as well. Well, I found some reference books. If you go into HBO Max, uh, there's a I guess a portion of it where you hit for extras, and they give reading material references uh, in that portion of when you select in HBO Max the Batman movie, and so some of the reference materials that they will show you, I have here. And this one that I'm about to show you is not a reference material. However, it is referred to in the movie, of course, because where uh, the mental institution that they refer to in the Batman movie related to their family is the Arkham Asylum, which is where all the baddies go in all Batman material. And so, and this book here is a hardcover first edition of the Arkham Asylum series. There are more than just this one, but this is the hardcover, and it's a rare, it's a hard to find book, hardcover book of Arkham Asylum. But this is when Grant Morrison did his first, and this is the first, uh, I guess, this is the first writing of the series Arkham Asylum in a hardcover edition. Okay, so moving forward to some of the reference materials I'll show you on the HBO Max app is this series here that I'm pulling up, Batman Year One. And this was a four-part series. This is number one, two, three, which is two copies of number three, and then number four. That was this is one of the comic book references to that are showed to and being referred to in that in the HBO Max app. The others are, I'm pulling them up slowly because there's a bunch of them, and so they refer to a series called The Long Halloween. And The Long Halloween is a fantastic read, and get to it later. However, there was a precursor to The Long Halloween. And so the writer, Jeff Leb, he had a precursor to The Long Halloween with 3 books. Uh, so I'll get into them. I'll show them to you right now. This was Batman, Legends of the Dark Knight, Halloween Special, with Tim Sale as the artist. This is a precursor book to the Long Halloween. And then we have another book, another precursor to it, Batman Madness. And that's in reference to, and it's a Halloween special, Legends of the Dark Knight Halloween special. But of course, with this case, with a pumpkin with a hat on top of it in Madness, this is in reference to the villain, the Mad Hatter, who does not show up in the Batman movie, but still, these are precursor books to The Long Halloween. And then the last precursor is Batman Ghosts. And still all Halloween themed. And of course, we're about to dig into the Long Halloween next. Okay, so the Long Halloween, again, as I mentioned before, it's a 12-issue series that went for a full year. Every book for every year. Several villains referenced to it. And also there is in HBO Max, if you didn't know, there's a Long Halloween cartoon movie that is pretty close in reference to these 12 books that I'm kind of like just carousing through. Now, I had these books since the early 2000s, and these are the books that Brother John Michael, as a matter of fact, we were traveling together, and he had this series with him, and I started reading it. And I had, at that time, I hadn't gotten back into comic book collecting just quite yet, but this was the series that convinced me I needed to start collecting again. It is so excellent that it's ridiculous. There are other ways to procure this besides buying the individual books. The individual books now, and especially after this movie, are quite pricey. Even, for example, I think John went into eBay to try to find, start pricing out these books. They can run $20 to $50 or more a piece. In particular, this one here with Poison Ivy can be a little pricey, and that's issue number 6. Now, why issue number 6 is more pricey than the other, I'm not quite sure. In fact, I was shocked at the prices for these books, because they'd been in dollar bins for years, were as expensive as they are. However, it does not diminish the value and the excellent reading. And so I was going to show you one more Long Halloween way that you can get it, the Long Halloween, for reading material. And it is this here, this Absolute Long Halloween, which is just one huge, massive book of the Long Halloween. And you can get it this way as well. But it's up to you how you're going to get your Long Halloween reading material. The artwork and everything is the same. It's just in a massive compendium for you to get and read in one shot, one kill. I let one of my neighbors hold this and read it, and man, this book stayed going for a while. He enjoyed it so much. He just read through it and enjoyed it, and I think he reread it a few times. So excellent reading material in the Long Halloween and its precursors that I showed you. I'm trying not to make a mess. I'm trying to make this a neat place where my books won't fall over and get damaged. I'm trying to find a place to put them there smoothly. Alrighty, and then one book that they didn't mention in HBO Max, but they should have, um, is this one here. And I'm going to have to move the certificate of authenticity out of the way. If I can do that smoothly. And that is Batman Earth 1. This is another book that they should have used in reference to the Batman movie. And it comes in Volume 1 and Volume 2. Volume 1 and Volume 2 for in reference reading material to the Batman movie. Again, great reads, fantastic reads. Highly encourage you to seek them out. This is just a certificate of authenticity that went with this book. That it's let me see. Oh, this is signed by Jeff Johns, the writer. So inside this is signed by Jeff Johns, internal to in this book. The writer Jeff Johns has signed inside of this book, just driving up the value of the book in itself. And so, if you don't have it, do yourself a favor and cop this book. Get it to read. The artwork is beautiful. Gary Frank is a longtime artist in the writing in the DC field. He does a lot of DC books. In particular, another one is called The Watchmen. He did work in it, and tons of other things that he's worked on. But he does a beautiful job in this book, and I highly encourage you to get this as a reading material and help you figure out why in the Batman things are the way they are. And I don't want to spoil it for you if you've not seen it, because in itself, the Batman movie it's a mystery for the most part. It's a detective story, and I just don't want to ruin that for you. Just like I hate when people ruin movies for me so I'm just not going to do that for you. Okay. One other thing. No, I'm not going to say. I can't say one other thing. Where's that? Where is it? Ah, I put something on top of it. So I mentioned to you in the previous video as well some of the things I do to acquire books, particularly my monthly books. And I mentioned that I use Discount Comic Book Service, DCBS, Discount Comic Book Service, and they send me my books, and I get my books, and you can schedule it. You can get them weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. I do mine every 2 weeks. And so this box here, I'm about to show you. I'm going to move these books out of the way because that's a mail call part of the show that I don't want to ruin yet. But my new every 2 weeks box came in, and this is how they come in. I get a box of books. I don't have to go to the comic book store, and they send these to my house, well shipped, well protected. I can move it around because I can hear the plastic bubble, the bubbling around it in here, so it's very secure when they send the books. And I don't want to torture you with opening a box because you guys, and if I was going to show you what was in it, I would have opened this a long time ago. But I just wanted to show you how they come from DCBS. And what is vital about them, at minimum per book, you can get 35% off each title, or not, if not more, sometimes more, but at minimum 35% off per title. So it's very important. So you can get a great savings on your books. Okay, now I'm going to run through the mail call, make this quick, and I'm trying to make this video hit it and quit it and free up your time. So One of my favorite things I like to look for are books related to voodoo and or uh, ancient Nigerian religion. Some people call it Ifa, or some people name them by the angels, the Orisas or Orishas. Either way, some of the things that I look for in books, in this particular character, Papa Midnight, uh, is one of the characters that DC does. He was previewed in Hellblazer #2, a John Constantine book. And if you didn't know, John Constantine was sometimes referred to as Hellblazer in his early showings. And so this was Papa Midnight was not this exact book, but Papa Midnight first showed in Hellblazer #2. But and this is a mini series that came out much later regarding Papa Midnight. Um, and I don't have #1. #1 is a beautiful white cover, and I'm looking to get that book. But if you don't know, Papa Midnight is like, what did they say, the guides to the underworld. And he can be, as they say in the religion, sometimes a trickster. And so, just a fun read for your soul to figure out how to improve your soul on this earth's journey. And that's what Papa Midnight is, one of those characters to help you understand your soul. And that's also one of the things in Nigerian ancient religion that a lot of African Americans before they got here used to practice, and a lot of people, African Americans and Africans on the Western Hemisphere now, that's what they practiced before they came here and coming from Nigeria. So anyway, before I bore you with our story, and I don't use the word history. I usually like to use the word our story because we're all in this ship on Earth together. So it's all our story. So not history. So what I'm showing you next is Catwoman, her first solo. It won't call it a long series, but it was a mini series. Before she had her first series, a long running series, volume 1, there was a mini series that was Catwoman, and it was a four-part series. And I found this one. I had to get this one just because I'm a Catwoman fan. And this was her very first solo series, mini series, um, before she became Catwoman Volume 1 or whatever the case may be. And it depends on how people want to uh, when you're doing cataloging or looking for a way to database your book. Some people will call it Series 1 or Series 2 or Volume 1, Volume 2. And I'm not sure exactly how this one is cataloged yet, but I know this is her first mini series. And if you want to try to find it, it's still pretty, for right now, pretty inexpensive. And seeing as how vital of a role that Catwoman played in the Batman movie, and as she has always been a vital character and a very early showing character in Batman lore, because Selina's been around probably since Batman #1. If you do yourself a favor and try to find some type of, if you find yourself or reletting of Batman #1, most people can't afford Batman #1 itself because I think it just sold for a few $1 million, even just recently. Uh, but um, but if you can find a remake of it, do yourself a favor and read because it's a fun read. Just seeing the beginnings of Selina Kyle, the Catwoman, in that story as she was a jewel thief, and even from her very first appearance way back then. Okay, and so then we've got some more beautiful covers. This is a new artist called Abenabe is her name. Her name is somewhere in the Broken Glass. And I'm not familiar with the character in this one yet, but I think it's a brand new character. But Abenabe is the artist on this Marvel Voices Legacy #1. And as I said, I'm going to try to breeze through these quickly. One of the other 2 videos ago, I showed you some books as well with Shuri. One was with a white background, and here it is with a black background with that Shuri cover with David Nakayama as the artist on it. And as you see his autograph on the side of the book, I have 2, and also with his certificate of authenticity that he signed the books with David Nakayama autographs. Alrighty, cruising even faster. We've got more Marvel Voices Legacy books. There's 2 copies of it, but this is another Taryn Clark book or cover. And I love these Marvel Voices Legacy covers. Just beautiful books that you may want to try to find. And Taryn Clark has, if you're more familiar with the Wanda, Scarlet Witch and Wanda show, this was the character that becomes Captain Marvel in the Wanda series, and this is what she will turn into, as you saw that with the, I think it was the blue light around herself. This is Photon, and she is a character, and she is actually at one time Captain Marvel, but now they call her Photon. Alrighty, moving forward. Another Marvel Voices cover. I love this one too. And I love the fact they even included Night Thrasher here. And of course, we got my man Bishop from the X-Men. And I think he was on the other cover as well. And Miles. As well as, of course, we all know who Black Panther is. Aurora. We have the Falcon there. And of course, Photon there. So they got a whole cast and crew. Diverse crew there. And then last one on that one for Marvel Voices for the Native American community here that we have in Marvel Voices. Another beautiful, beautiful book. This book here is kind of like a shout out to one of the newer books in reference to kind of like the Clone Wars, but it's not. This is more where you have Ben Reilly, the Ben Reilly Spider-Man versus Peter Parker Spider-Man. So you got Spider versus Spider, Ben Reilly, and then you got Peter Parker himself. But Ben Reilly is one of those characters that people loved when they brought him out as Spider-Man. And do yourself a favor, just Wikipedia up yourself about Ben Reilly and his relationship to Peter Parker. I'm not going to go into it because that's for you guys to do on your own, because I'm trying to encourage you to get into comic book reading and not do it for you. And lastly, one of the last things I found was this old Uncanny Avengers book, but it's a variant with Deadpool on the cover and with his always making jokes as per usual, Deadpool jokes, almost like deadpan jokes. But I love this cover because I've never seen it before, and I had to have this variant with Deadpool in the Uncanny Avengers. Alrighty, so I think I've hit all the highlights so far as what I wanted to share with you today. Like I said, I wanted to make this. Oh, no, I didn't. No, I did not. I forgot. One more thing. So I did reference things spiritual, even with Papa Midnight. Well, here are things that are spiritual, but in the Sandman universe. Within the last 2 weeks, this book here has been on the top 10 list of for people looking at comic books on what to get lately. And I think this book came out about 2 weeks ago. When it came out, it was hitting for about $200 off the shelf. I mean, period. This is a 1 for 100 cover. Uh, Hard to find. Jenny Frison slays this cover. Beautiful, beautiful. And this is the so this character is Death, and she a very popular character in the Sandman universe. And this is another variant, a 1 for 50 of the same book, Sandman Universe, Nightmare Country. Because I didn't. I'm sorry. I neglected to tell you the cover, the name of the book. But this is the Sandman Universe, Nightmare Country #1, and this is another variant of it. Get yourself these books, and if you don't know, Death is coming eventually. Death will show up in the DC universe pretty soon. I know that they're working on the Sandman. They're working on the Sandman production. I don't know if it's going to be a cartoon or a movie or how they're going to do it. But Neil Gaiman, or Gaiman, however you want to pronounce it, but Neil Gaiman uh, created the Sandman universe, and it makes for great reading. This book here, what is significant about this Captain Atom book, and most people don't know about it, is the fact that it is the first appearance of Death in the DC comic book universe. I mean, as in like DC main titles like Superman, Batman. However, Captain Atom is one of those obscure characters, but this is actually the first appearance of Death in mainstream books. And as you saw the price on it, it ain't too expensive, but it ain't cheap either. It's surely not a book, even though it's usually it might be found in the dollar bin if people don't know what they have, if stores don't know. But this Captain Atom #42 is where Death first appears in regular DC comic book streams as outside the Sandman universe. I want to hit some last highlights on other mail call books. This Punisher #1 book by this one is Alex Ross. Love this cover. And then inspired by John Michael, I had to get this book. Had to get it. So John Michael had these in our last show, and I just had to get it. I got 2 copies, and they were cheap. Cheap, cheap, cheap. John Stewart covers by Stanley Artgerm. Man, Artgerm kills this book. And then, of course, I was blessed, and it's still cheap to find it in a 9.8. So I think the most expensive thing was about this book was the shipping. So get it while it's cheap, and especially it's going to make a beautiful display on one of these shows. And the last thing I wanted to do was show this book here. This here is Avengers #37, Alex Ross cover with Black Panther. This is the last of the mail call, and I just wanted to share this with you guys. Love this Alex Ross cover of Black Panther. And so the final thing I wanted to also discuss was production thank yous. I miss my partner John Michael. Look forward to shooting the special show with you later on today. Also to our producer Ron, who provided us with the new opening, our name tags that we supply that you see, and the like, subscribe, thumbs up animation, as well as the editing critiques, the production critiques that you gave us for our special guest today. And thank you for inviting us to your families or your son's last lacrosse game at University of District of Columbia, UDC. The Firebirds, who defeated a team from New York, Duvalier, or do something like it, DU something. Anyway, 16-8 yesterday, the last day of April, and he graduates from UDC in a few weeks. Congratulations to your son, and much love to your family. Thank you guys. Have a great Ski Geek day, and I'll holler at you soon.